Last time we were here, we went pretty far into the R's, although we ended up on Renamon X antibody. Obviously the big Digimon to talk about. Moving forward from here, I'll try to get as much of this book, the reference manual, as I can done. This bit will take a little bit of a while, but we should be able to get most of these done tonight. So small logistical things going on right now. Small little logistical things just to be brought up. Slowly working on the End War review. That should be hopefully done by this month, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes. If not this month, it will most definitely be done by next month. If you happen to be in the Tyler, Texas area, they're having an anime convention there. I will be going to see what's there. So, yeah, that's one little convention to look forward to. Hopefully I can get a press pass towards the Tyler anime convention, but we will see. One of the things about conventions like that is you never know. Given it's a smaller convention, it's very possible they might give me a press pass, but then again, they might just go, well, who is this guy who only has 334 subscribers? Drinking some water. Outside of that, YouTube channel has been slowly growing. This has become pretty much one of the main things for this channel, which is surprising, I have to say. What started out as like a little experiment has pretty much come to be one of the main content. Other little things to continue. Notice that there was a comment on one of the first videos that said, don't think anyone told him about recolors and their use. I understand the point of having recolors to use the same Digimon to reference for different typings, or to have the same Digimon twice. The thing I'll say is, for something like the reference manual, it's a bit unnecessary, because there's a lot of Digimon that are just Guilmon but blue or something, and I don't really feel that that's worth making as a new Digimon. Hi, V Scorpio, good to see you here. We were just starting. I was just going through, do some of the behind the screens things before we move forward. But yeah, hopefully we can head through the entirety of the remainder of the rookies. Now, so for those who haven't been here before, here's how this works. I'll go over a Digimon design. I'll give my commentary on it. I'll say something I like about the design. I'll say something I dislike about the design. I'll say what I'll change about it. Whatever I say that I dislike about the design, it has to be more than just it has to be more than just I don't like this design or it doesn't feel like a Digimon. I have to actually explain why. Same with why I like it. I have to explain why I like the design. I'll also be reading the description of the Digimon so that we can get a good idea as where they're coming. Oh, excuse me. What did I eat? I'll read the description so we can get a good idea as to what the design is trying to accomplish, because sometimes the description will say more about the design than what's just on the design itself. And then we'll go from there. At the end of that commentary, I'll give about 10 to 20 seconds of just silence. It both helps me catch my breath while also giving you time for you all to make commentary. Remember, if you guys can comment on these designs as well, so it's worth looking about. I'll try to respond to as many comments as possible, but bear in mind I'm only human. And remember, these are not, say, hard and fast. These are just my opinions. I could be very wrong with some of my opinions on these designs. So it's worth commenting to tell me, hey, this is what I think on the design. So without further ado, I think it's best that we continue on with the Digimon source manual. Starting off with the last of the R's of Digimon, and that's Ryudamon. A beast Digimon presumed to be an experimental prototype Digimon from before Digimon were discovered due to the antiquated interface on its forehead. Ryudomon is covered in Japanese-styled armor that boosts a high defense, yet its movements are quite nimble, allowing it to attack by jumping boldly right into the enemy's chest. The more it fights, the more it cultivates its combat skills. Ryudomon possesses gallantry, a samurai spirit, and a soul unafraid of powerful enemy Digimon. During an experiment, the brazen combat data of military commanders and dragons from Japanese myth was said to be hidden in the deepest parts of its Digicore, and it can supposedly grow into a mighty dragon. Ryudomon uses its signature move, Kabuto Geisha, to take the enemy's attacks with its armored helmet before countering. With Ilia Blade, it jumps at the opponent's crest before firing an iron blade from its mouth. Bear in mind, I'm trying my best to pronounce these words. Some of these I do have issues, just from difficulty. So, quick design thing. We have a dragon wearing samurai armor, a very basic design. One thing I'm kind of seeing now is they've given him a not pony. I believe they're called a samurai top knot. I believe that's what they're going with there, which is something I have not really seen on these design. Looking at it now. Excuse me. What's with me? The shell on the armored back on it, I like the purple, as it kind of looks like the different segmented armor being held together with rope, much like actual Japanese samurai armor. Things about the design I dislike. So I like the execution. I like that they really design this to look like a Japanese samurai armor dragon. Things I don't like. I think the fur element on the on the underside and the legs, because if you can't see, there's a little bit of a fur design element on this. I think that's unnecessary, and it kind of pulls away from the dragon aesthetic. But then again, I'm kind of coming from dragon from a more Western approach, which is giant lizard. And in Asian myth, there's so many different dragon types, it's enough to make Dragon Hunter. Let me look at the other designs. No, they follow that as well. It's not exactly a simple design, but it does get the point across, which is Samurai Dragon. I think they did a good job of hiding the interface in the helmet on this design better than Dorumon. Which, yeah, I like Dorumon's design. Things I would change. As much as I would say add a little samurai sword or a katana, that's a bit not necessary. I think the big thing I would change is probably the fur. I would omit it and just make it like, say, scales. But that's about it. So again, I like the design. I would almost say it's a perfect. Just from its execution, its concept. The only thing I don't like is the fur element of the design. And also the samurai top knot, which is an interesting thing to add. So, yeah. Don't like the fur, but I like just about everything else with it. So we're going to take about, I'll say, ooh, what is with me today? I'll say about 20 seconds. And with that, we're going to head towards, that's the end of the R's of the Digimon. And we're going to head towards one of the weirdest designs from Digimon that has rarely appeared. When I say weirdest, you'll understand why. Salamon is a young sacred species Digimon with distinctive floppy ears. Since it's still a child, it isn't able to make full use of its holy powers and has yet to realize its destiny. As a result, its nature is fundamentally unstable and it is capable of becoming either good or evil. There will likely come a day, however, when Salamon will awaken to its destiny as one of the Virus Busters. After all, it was born a sacred species Digimon. Salamon also has an experimental Digimon created by Digimon researchers. And since it was modeled after a human pet, it looks a great deal like a real animal. Its special move, Puppy Howl, involves letting out a supersonic screech that can paralyze foes. The Forgotten Rookie. So, for those who don't know, Salamon is the rookie form of Gatomon. And Salamon did appear in Digimon Adventure, like once. Technically, no, she appeared twice. She is technically the partner of Kari, but due to story reasons, Salamon doesn't appear, and it's always Gatomon. And honestly, Gatomon is kind of a better design for a rookie, but that's neither here nor there. Salamon does not appear often, simply because Gatomon is more popular. Salamon did appear in... They appeared in Digimon Frontier as, I believe, Ophanemon's rookie form. But yeah, Salamon does not make many appearances in media, as they usually forget about her and go towards Gatomon. Now, as for design aspects, it's a very basic design. I believe Salamon is one of the early Digimon designs. Salamon takes more after, say, a Tamagotchi, which, you know, cutesy, very almost plump. You can almost make a Digimon just out of the head. It does have a vaguely dog shape, but Salamon, It also has a holy ring, which is an interesting design, although that's supposed to be more of a collar. How does a dog turn into a cat, to an angel, to a dragon? Oh, Digimon gets wild with it. Generally, when they do that, there's usually some kind of story, but I myself don't know what's going on. I'm wondering if maybe there was a sort of behind-the-scenes development where Salamon was supposed to just look like a generic pet, and they just went with dog. But I don't know, and I have no record of it. In the case of the dragon, I do think there is some mythology with the holy dragon. Digimon lore in a nutshell, pretty much. But yeah, there's a lot you can talk about Salamon just with how much they don't appear in the franchise. As for design, it's a very cute design. It's a very basic, like, this is something a child could make, which is very weird that Salamon barely makes any appearances. They hyper simplified things, which is a good thing. That's good for children. Whenever you make a design for children, it has to be simple enough for them to draw, and that's exactly what they did here. Now, as for the Holy Ring, I think, given Salamon can either go good or evil, I would almost omit the Holy Ring. I know it's supposed to look like a collar, but given that the Holy Ring is associated more with, you know, Holy Digimon, but Salamon can go either direction, I think it would be best to omit the Holy Ring. That's probably the only design change I would do. And I really can't say, oh, I don't like it doesn't look like a dog. No, Salamon looks very much like what a kid would draw as a dog. I went to comic book store and traded some Digimon cards and got Renamon and Kyubimon. That is a good start to a deck. That is a very good start to a Renamon deck. Do be careful. My understanding is we are getting another card in the Renamon deck, but that's based on the New Century Digimon, and there are some things about the New Century Digimon I don't like. I'll bring that up when we get to them. But yeah, be on the lookout. That deck might change soon, so... But yeah, as of recently, the big thing with Salamon was with Digi-Destiny, where one Salamon was an antagonist, and then you had another Salamon that was a hero, where it went Salamon, Sistermon Noir. They had some story reasons why. Lady Devimon, and then Anubimon. So you have dog to nuns with guns to My Chemical Romance to Anubis. By the way, if you ever watch I would highly recommend watching Digi Destiny. It's a very good show. It's a very good role play thing. It's beautiful. And yeah, I do donate to it occasionally. I like the creators. But back to Salamon. Design-wise, I like that it's simplistic. I like that it reads Tamagotchi dog. The only thing I would really omit is the Holy Ring, and that's about the only thing I would change. And I would say this is probably a perfect design. It works as a cutesy little virtual pet, and yeah. So 15 seconds. No, sorry, 20 seconds. So yeah, we're moving away from Salamon. Here we have a lot of the Digimon. We've come quite a long way. And then we go to Salamon X Antibody. So, basically the same Digimon, but as we know with X Antibodies, we read what's changed. Its cuteness as a pet increases, bringing more happiness to those who see it. Salamon X Antibodies' holy power has increased as well, gaining it the puppy paw technique that it uses to create a barrier against virus Digimon in the wake of its steps. Still, it is unaware of this technique. So, changes from the basic Salamon. They've really increased this looking like a dog, which is an interesting little concept. I don't think it was necessary, but they've really went more towards dog, and they've increased the size of the ring to show just how holy it is. This isn't the laziest I've seen with X Antibodies. It's a decent X Antibody, but again, with X Antibodies, I kind of would have preferred to see an X or something on the design. I also, again, the Holy Ring is a bit unnecessary. I understand you're trying to say it's holy, but I don't think making the Holy Ring bigger was necessary. That all being said, this just looks like they took Salamon and said, let's make Salamon more dog-like. And yeah, that is true. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And yes, I am wearing green. I am wearing camouflage pants, green camouflage pants. So, yeah, can't pinch me. Although that's actually kind of interesting. I'm surprised there hasn't been a St. Patrick Digimon. Huh. But yeah, big thing with this design, I'll say, they made Salamon a little more dog-like. I don't know if that was really worth going. And they made the Holy Ring bigger. And again, happy St. Patrick's Day. I don't think this was really worth making an X Antibody. So they didn't really do much to change the design. I understand the background behind it, but this really isn't much. So things I like that it looks more like a dog. Things I don't like that they didn't add more to say that this is X Antibody. This just looks like an artist's interpretation of Salamon. So, yeah, we'll give it 20 seconds. So, that's one of the things with these designs. I like seeing something different with the X Antibodies. And I'm not a big fan of recolors. So, Sangomon. A mollusk Digimon living in the shallows of the net ocean. Sangamon has a gentle and cheerful disposition that allows it to form connections with many other species. It uses Shellmon's back as a bed, and Crabmon has been witnessed trimming the coral protruding from its head. When attacked by an invader, Sangamon uses Refuge Mist, a tear-inducing poisonous mist scattering from its coral to make its escape. When this fails, it fights back with coral pressure, shooting high-pressure water from the ends of its arms. Is Salomon X a different dog breed? I don't think so. I think it's just like, say, a puppy that has become more mature, which it looks to be about the same breed, but they don't specify. They just say it looks like cute animal. Oh, hey, we got Finding Nemo. Sangamon looks like a dragon coral. So, quick things. They add a little tiny clownfish, which is an interesting thing. I was almost thinking they didn't add that. I was wondering, why isn't there a clownfish Digimon? There is. You have a coral head with a coral helmet with corals coming out. Suckers coming out from underneath. For those who don't know, a lot of those sea anemones oftentimes have little suckers on them that will grab onto coral or other hard surfaces. And if need be, they can move around. They don't move around a lot. They're kind of solid. They kind of stay in one place for a while, but they do move, if I remember correctly. As for this design, they took the idea of, well, I assume one of those mollusks, one of those sea anemone with a coral helmet, and made it a dragon. It's actually kind of a cute design, I'm not going to lie. I do like the idea of a coral helmet, and the clownfish is an interesting thing hiding. I think the tail is a bit unnecessary. It's actually a kind of creepy, cute design. I do like it. The colors do complement one another, the pink and the blue. Things about the design I don't like. I think the suckers on the tentacles are a bit much. I understand that that's what they're referencing. I just think they may be a bit unnecessary with the design. But other than that, I do like the design. I like the concept, and I like what it's trying to read here. So things I would change would be the hands and the tail. Things I like. I like that they made this like a coral dragon, coral reptile thing. But again, I would omit the tail and the tentacle. I would omit the tail and do something different with the tentacles. Maybe even make these the feet. These can be the feet with the claws coming out from the feet, and these just being your basic tentacles. I'm also surprised they don't comment about the clownfish. That is a weird thing to not talk about. It is a data type, which, okay. So we'll give it so things I like the concept. Things I don't think the reptile tail was necessary, and I think the hands should be where the feet are, and the feet should be more of what the tentacles are. What I'm saying is there needs to be little tiny claws on the feet, and these just be basic tentacles. So we'll give that 20 seconds. I'm going to take a quick drink. By the way, how are you all? How are both you, Renamon 565, and B Scorpio doing? It's good to see you here. We're just going to take a quick little break, a rest, to see how things are going. So I guess we'll go to Shamamon. Shamamon. A Goblimon whose duty is to hear the will of Big Guy to convey it to its clan. Shamamon conducts a ritual in which it performs a strange dance and supposedly hears divine messages once its fervor reaches its peak. Its clan uses this ritual to foretell matters of import. Shamamon uses its special move, Shama Hammer, to bonk the enemy on the head with a large club it uses in the ritual. So I'm kind of glad that they give us the different Digimon. I'm setting in my new place, trying to see what's around. Yeah, that is. Whenever you move to a new place, it takes a while to figure out what's around. Generally, what I find a good thing to do is to find the card shop, and from there see what times people play card games or play Warhammer or what have you, and then talk with them to see what's around town. Going to different restaurants every now and then can also help, as I can help you explore different places. It does take a while to figure out what's going on, especially figuring out the times. I've moved around a lot on occasion, and it can be interesting. So, Shamamon. So we have a recolor of a Goblimon, and I understand they're trying to make this as Goblimon, but a shaman, but I don't think they did enough to change Goblimon. I know they changed the color of the clothing. They made him a darker green, gave him green hair, but I don't think that was enough to change this. If you're going to make this more like a shaman Goblimon, I would say maybe make the club more like a religious item. I say religious item. Maybe something like, say, a censer or a more shaman stick to kind of pull the point of this is a shaman Digimon. Because as is, there's nothing really. Like, if you showed me this as Goblimon, as just from right here, I'd say, oh, that's just someone that took an orc and gave it a darker green. We'll get to Snow Goblimon later, but Shamanmon doesn't really have much different, and adding something to say this is a shaman. As is, there isn't much here. And this is kind of the problem I have with recolors. I understand this is supposed to be a Digimon that does things differently, but if you're going to make a new Digimon that's a Goblimon that does something more, you kind of need to add something. Things I do like, I'm just comparing it to the Goblimon. I will say I do like that they attempted to make it somewhat different by giving it a darker green, a different hair color, and a blue jacket. So I appreciate that they tried something to make the Shamanmon look different from Goblimon. But I don't think they did enough with the design. So things I would change the club to something that's more of like a shaman stick. Maybe add something more to the design that's shaman-esque. Maybe a mask of some kind. Maybe add a shaman tool in the other hand. Something to say this is a shaman, because I'm not really seeing that here. So I would say there's an attempt, but I don't think they did enough. So 20 seconds. So yeah, another recolor. At least they kind of justify what Shamanmon does in Goblimon groups, but you kind of need to add something a little more to the design. Shumon. Oh wow, that is a long description. So Shumon is one of the newer Digimon. So let's go through the profile. A puppet Digimon that wears the leather of shoes and the skin of plush toys. If one attempts to touch Shumon, it will swiftly hop away to escape. It is very cowardly in nature, and via contact with the ground, acutely senses vibrations to quickly identify outside threats. The incredible grip of Shumon's soul allows it to traverse the toughest of roads and climb even vertical walls and pillars without issue. Given Shumon's preference for cleanliness, it dislikes walking in sandy areas or on muddy roads. It is especially fond of sweet fruits and opens the sole of its shoe like a mouth to heartfully gobble up even tough skin fruits whole. For its special move, Wonder Stomp, Shumon's soul detaches from the rest of its body and it leaps up high as part of a two-step attack. With petite needles, Shumon spits a huge number of sewing needles at enemies, stopping them in their tracks by sewing them right up. Shumon can even use the sewing needles with thread attached to travel to distant locations. So, this was one of the new Digimon from Liberators, I believe. It's, it's a mouse. It's a mouse in a shoe. And it's interesting that you have it where this could be the mouth and that can be the mouth, so that can confuse things. A lot of sewing elements too, which, by the way, friendly reminder, Joanne Fabrics is going out of business, so if you need any sewing supplies, go to Joanne Fabrics. Things about the design I like. I like that they went the direction of sewing. You can see the stitch work on the Shumon's little mouse part. The shoe is an interesting direction to take things, because I'm remembering of South Park's Chinpokomon shoe. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Yes, indeed. The thing with this design, I would like to see what's on the other side of Shumon, because either Shumon has like 3 eyes or just has these 2 eyes with no eye here. I do like the button eye. That's a cute little design element. It's a cute and creative way to make a shoe Digimon, to create a little tiny monster of sewing. Things I would probably change. I would probably, for this repair mark here, I would probably replace that with some kind of embroidery or some kind of stitching repair, because this just kind of looks like they put duct tape on the shoe to repair it, and you can do that, but since this whole Digimon's thing is it's sewed together with shoe leather and scraps, this is a bit of an outlier. Now I understand it breaks up the design and adds something here, but I don't think duct tape was the direction to go. I think they needed to add some kind of embroidery, especially since Shumon does become Senderomon down the line. Maybe adding something of Senderomon on the shoe to indicate like this is where Shumon's going. But other than that, I like the design. It's cute. It's a creative design. You don't see a lot of sewing in these things. I can see this as a plushie. I can see this as a little plushie being sold at gachapon stores. I will give it the perfect, partially because I like the concept and it's cute. So, things I like how creative it is of let's sew together a Digimon, and it's a shoe, which I doubt they're referencing South Park, but it'd be funny if that was where they got the inspiration. Things I don't like, I think this should be some embroidery or some kind of sewed on patch rather than just duct tape. And I would change that to something like that instead of duct tape. So, yeah. And it gets the perfect. So, 20 seconds. And with that, we move on to the next Digimon. Oh wow, hold on. What's going on here? Cute mouse, yes indeed. Shoutmon. Oh wow, that is a lot of words. Alright. A ferocious Digimon with amazing vigor and extreme aggression. Even so, it is friendly to allies, and those recognized by Shoutmon can establish a deep bond that transcends species. A special function in Shoutmon's throat changes passion into energy, unleashing a soul crusher attack that uses a mic to amplify the burning passion in its chest to strike the enemy. Because passion is the source of its strength, Shoutmon will not abandon a battle no matter how much damage it receives, contributing to its savage reputation. Although it appears savage, it has a love of music and song, and enjoys humming along to the sounds of nature, such as wind, raindrops, babbling brooks, and rustling leaves. Sometimes it gets too wrapped up in its song and unleashes Soul Crusher even without enemies around, and so putting some distance between you and Shoutmon when it starts singing is a prudent move. For some strange reason, it always carries around a McField brand mic. A Shoutmon without a mic can't be called a Shoutmon. Losing one's mic will cause a rapid loss of power from the shock of its loss of identity before it wastes away completely. What the? Thus, you shouldn't play pranks on it by hiding its mic. Incidentally, the Rowdy Rocker move that utilized this mic as a staff is first rate both in combat as well as during its performance. Huh. I was not aware that apparently Shoutmon needs a mic. That's a bit much. So now we're getting to some more of the Cross Wars Digimon. And because I'm not going to lie, we're going to be getting into a lot of these Cross Digimon next. So I'll be debating about whether or not to go through those combinations. We'll see. As for this design, you have Red Dragon with a V. Kind of reminds me of Victini, although I don't think that was the intent. Fire, again associated with a lot of pyrotechnics in rock band concerts. They're adding in a lot of screws where hands go to arms. And that kind of design elements like that generally try to hide that this wasn't designed as a toy first, then a Digimon, then as a material. You can see something like in He-Man where all the men characters are all big and muscular. It's because they're working off of the same mold and they're trying to make them similar. That's in the old He-Man. And this kind of tells me that they probably went with the toy first and then went with the design. Making this work as a toy rather than as a show character. The mic is an interesting concept, and it does seem like something some rockers would use in a mic show. Although, kind of looks more Marilyn Manson. All the spikes and everything. That's less of Rocker Boy and more... not heavy metal. Power metal, almost? I'm not good with music when it comes to the differences. The mic design is very weird for rocker. Bit of a weird tangent. The headphones on the back with these spikes here make it look like he's wearing a headband to keep his hair down, which is a weird design. I've only seen that really done once else, and that was with Amy Rose. Yeah, her headband is supposed to be keeping her quills down, which is weird. Other little design element, the screws on the pectorals, that is a very weird design choice. And given that also straight line, it makes Shoutmon look like he's wearing a crop top. Which, okay, rockers wear weird things, and we've all been through the 90s and saw Gambit. I'm a little conflicted about this design. On one hand, if this was just basic Shoutmon, like say without the microphone, I think this could work well as say a starter Pokemon, as like a starter Digimon or as a partner Digimon. But as you start adding things like the metal bits, the screws, the headband, the microphone, you really complicate the design and it becomes a bit much. I would say I would say this gets thrown out of perfect, and it's a pretty meh design. For one, some major changes. I would omit the screws. I would omit these screws from the hands, the legs, and the chest. I don't know why those are added. It is a very weird thing to add on any design. Second, I would probably also omit the headphones, or alternatively accentuate the headphones if you're going towards the rocker musician approach. Make them more like those big square headphones instead of these smaller circle headphones, because this just looks like a headband. And adding in the spikes on the back, it looks like he's just holding down his hair rather than listening to music. As for the microphone, if you're going towards this rocker element, I would say go towards more of a rockabilly microphone. Something that, what was his name? He had glasses. Buddy Holly. I would say you would, if you're going to add a microphone, it should look something more rockabilly, more like something Buddy Holly would use. This doesn't read rocker. This mic reads Marilyn Manson, and that I think kind of pulls from the design. I understand it looks great as a Digimon microphone, but given you're going rocker, it doesn't really fit. Things I do like the V crest. I like the nose horn. I think those are interesting concepts, and I do like the idea of a little red dragon thing throwing fire and using music. But the design has been overcomplicated with the screws, the gauntlets, the microphone, the headphone. Basically, the microphone gives an idea of what I don't like about the design. It's been overcomplicated. And yeah. So it's a neat concept, but this is overcomplicated for what it's trying to do. So 20 seconds. So, yeah. I'll say this about Shoutmon. He looks like a rookie, but they did too much. That kind of sums up my problems with Shoutmon. Now we have Shoutmon plus Darula Cannon. Darulamon's Bombardment Mode. This is Darulamon's ultimate special move, condensing and firing all of the energy it possesses. It requires Darulamon to focus on loading the ammunition, so the cooperation of another Digimon is indispensable of the actual aiming process. Its defense also decreases to nothing, while it accumulates energy, leaving it completely vulnerable. This, of course, means that it requires another Digimon to guard it during this period, making this technique one that can only be used based on absolute trust in its partner. And Darulamon just gets cut in half. Yeah. This is just a toy. This is just the Cobra Command attack dog turned into guns. Um, Outside of the legs of Darulamon, this just looks like This looks like Shoutmon ripped the legs off of Darulamon and said, I got a gat. And this is where we're starting to get into the toy design. This is not a Digimon. This is a toy function. This is a prototype art for a toy. And this is not what a Digimon should look like. This is not a Digimon. This is concept art. And I'm not even going to say what I like or dislike because they did nothing to change this. Now, if this was, say, Shoutmon who had become more Darulamon-esque, I can see that. But this is just Shoutmon using Darulamon as a gun. This isn't really a Digimon. This is not a Digimon. And this is a problem we'll be seeing with a lot of the Cross Wars designs. Now, let it be known, there are some Cross Wars designs I like. I, for instance, do like the Mervamon Beelzemon design. I think that's a great design for a Digimon. But this is not a design. This is just someone playing with their action figures. And we're just going to keep moving forward. Because that's not a Digimon. That's worse than a recolor. Shoutmon plus Jet Sparrow. Sparrowmon's max speed cruiser mode gives this Digimon even more speed. It has tremendous propulsion and can carry other Digimon on its back. Still, it needs considerable willpower, all will be blown off by the extreme wind speed. The organ in its body, known as a digicompressor, provides propulsion by condensing, inhaled air and firing backward. This organ can be used for offense as well as flight, condensing air into plasma and shooting out Jet Sparrow's muzzles in its ultimate special move, Plasma Blaster. It can also use Air Shooter to blast compressed air with a roar. Air Shooter fires a shotgun blast outward, reducing its effectiveness against long-range foes but letting it obliterate nearby enemies in an instant. Okay, but this is not a Digimon. This is Shoutmon at the end of Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks when Vinyl Scratch appears with her Transformers boombox car. That's what this is. This is just toys working along one another. This is not a Digimon. Do you see my problem with Cross Wars Digimon? This isn't, say, Shoutmon with wings. This isn't Sparrowmon with rocking out. This is Shoutmon flying in to challenge Vinyl Scratch to a DJ contest. This is not a Digimon. Why is this in the Digimon source book? This is not a fusion. This is just toys. I like toys, but this is not a Digimon. It's a reference thing to a toy thing. Shoutmon plus Star Sword. Shoutmon plus Star Sword is the combined sword mode of Starmon and a group of Pictmon. Its saw-like blade boasts an unyielding hardness, and it is capable of dealing major damage by biting into foes. Since the wounds the sword inflicts are rough and ragged, it takes longer than normal for opponents to recover from a blow from this fearsome weapon, so it breaks the Geneva Convention. What's more, because the combined bodies of the Pikmin can move freely, the sword is not only hard, but it's also flexible, and can bend back like a willow branch to absorb a blow that might otherwise break it. The Star Sword is essentially the physical manifestation of a strong bond between its constituent Digimon. Okay. This is better than the other designs, which was just Shoutmon playing with toys. They gave Shoutmon a sword. So, that's something. Here you have a better view of the screw pectorals. That is such a weird design. As for the sword, It looks like Shoutmon is jamming his hand right into Starmon's mouth and is just holding it like that. Guys, I hate to say this about designs, and I hate to say that we've done this 3 times. This is not... They've done... Starmon and Pictomon have... I can understand Starmon and Pictomon becoming a sword. We've had Digimon that become weapons. That's an okay design. I would have been okay with that. But to just... This is just that Digimon being used by another Digimon. This is not... This really isn't a Digimon. This is... These 3 Shoutmon designs are... Let's take Shoutmon, let's put him with toys, with how he'll use with the other toys to act in an action figure set when you have Cobra Commander fight him. This... Here's what I would have liked. If you had taken, say, the Starmon and made it that, Shoutmon had gained, a star-like jacket, or the Pictomon, or like a star-like guitar with the Pictomon acting as picks, and he has a bunch of picks that come out, and Shoutmon looks more like that. I'd be okay with that. That would at least do something to change the design. But this is just, we're taking Starmon and the Pictomon, putting them together, and we're giving it to Shoutmon. Again, this is not a Digimon. This was a prototype toy design that they've used. And I'm at least with the recolors, they give a story reason why the recolors exist. With the X antibodies, they give them a story reason for this to exist. These are not Digimon. Shoutmon is a Digimon, and I'm okay with that. But Shoutmon Darula Cannon is take Darulamon that you can take apart and use as guns. Shoutmon Jet Sparrow, in case you want to add Sparrowmon to Shoutmon. Shoutmon Star Sword. That's just Shoutmon with a sword. That's not a design. So I don't know why these 3 were added to the reference manual, because these are not Digimon. Now, Sistermon Blanc, on the other hand... So, younger sister to Sistermon Noir and Sistermon... Wait, hold on. Oh, that's interesting. I'll get to that later. Sistermon Noir. This girl form Digimon wears a white rabbit on its head. Unlike Noir, Sistermon Blanc is somewhat reserved and is often seen hiding behind its older sister. Both siblings look after Huckmon, acting as its escort. Sistermon Blanc helps with Huckmon's training to faithfully carry out Genkamon's request, but often has to keep its older sister's violence tendencies in check. It strives with all its might to act as Huckmon's chaperone to repay Genkamon for helping it and its sister. Its 3-pronged lance, Cross Barbe, can be used for attack as it stabs its foes with Divine Pierce, or for defense when it jams the butt end into the ground to generate Protect Wave. It can also execute the joint attack Grand Sister Cruise with its older sister. So, Sistermon Blanc, the Sistermon line is interesting because Sistermon Blanc is okay. There was no controversy with her. Sistermon Noir caused controversy because she looks like a nun with guns. And there was a lot of concern that this would cause problem in religious areas, the U.S. So they made Sistermon Seal. This is the reason why in the U.S., whenever the Sistermons appear, it's Sistermon Blanc and Sistermon Seal, while elsewhere it's Sistermon Noir and Sistermon Blanc. Curiously, as we've see down here, both Seal and Noir are their own Digimon. So they're both valid. So, as for designs with Sistermon Blanc that I like, it's I like the reference to, oh, I forgot its name. It's the dragon that Gatomon becomes. I like that reference to Gatomon, to that Digimon. I know this is technically the Digimon and the nun is the puppet, but it's an interesting kind of change of place of, nun wearing cute thing. No, the hat is the Digimon. Trident is an interesting touch. The thing I don't like about Sistermon Blanc is this is just a human girl wearing white Lolita clothing, and they're calling it a Digimon. This is the problem I have with human type Digimon. They just look like they're cosplayers. And that's fine. This guy could see being used as cosplay. The problem is this really doesn't read Rookie, and it doesn't really read Digimon. It just reads cosplay. Now, like I said, I do like the pink wimple, that it's the reference to that Digimon. I think this trident is an interesting inclusion as a weapon, but this really isn't a Digimon. This reads more like RPG character or RPG Maker character number 3. So yeah, I would have changed this to, I don't know, omit more of the, maybe have the wimple cover the girl's face, just to bring up that this is a Digimon and not human. Because as is, this is just a little girl in a nun outfit and her anime obsession at the moment, and her kawaii obsession at the moment. This really isn't a Digimon. I still like. I think the design is interesting, and as a Catholic, it is interesting to know just the rigmarole that went into this, what they've had to go through. But just because I like the Sisters of Battle from 40K and I'm aware of Battle Nun Aurelia, I don't know. Sisters of Battle, at the very least, are unique with the take, and Battle Nun Aurelia is something. So, things I would change: pull the wimple down to cover the face, like similar to Angelwomon, and maybe make this seem more like a monster rather than just a girl with her kawaii obsession, because she looks more like a Final Fantasy character. So 20 seconds. And now we'll go to how you fix Sistermon Blanc, because we all are aware of Sistermon Blanc's next form, Sistermon Blanc Awake. So, another form of Sistermon Blanc, a holy stigmata appears in the center of the wimple. Okay, there's a problem with that. Wimple on its head as it awakens. Its reserved personality does an about face in this state, causing it to rush around the battlefield in a rampage as it surrenders to its base combat instincts. When it reverts back from its awakened state, Sistermon Blanc enters a gentle slumber that makes its previous violence seem inconceivable. So, for one, having the wimple come down, that is exactly what I wanted from the previous design. That's good. I'm okay with that. The artwork here is more accentuating that she's doing combat. That being said, this feels less like a rookie and more like a champion or even an ultimate. I would almost use this as a champion. So, let me go with what I would say with this line. if I were to make the Sistermon Blanc line, what I would do is I would make the pink Wimple its own Digimon, because Holy Digimon have a tendency to be these cute pink things. Have it where it goes from that to Sistermon Blanc, and then from Sistermon Blanc to, say, Angewomon, representing, a holy change. Sistermon Blanc Awakened feels more like a champion level Digimon rather than a rookie. And this kind of gives you the reason why I don't like human style Digimon, because this doesn't look like a rookie. The hat looks like a rookie, but you add in the girl, you add in the human aspect, and it looks like it should be a stronger Digimon. As for Stigmata, that was my phone. My understanding of the Stigmata is it generally appears on the hands and on the feet, as where Jesus was nailed to the cross. So saying there's a stigmata on the forehead is a bit of a weird thing, unless, let me do a quick check on that. Sport brand. Okay, so it just means a mark, roughly saying. But the specific term of a stigmata appears is a weird... But to say, oh, a stigmata has appeared, that's a weird specific term, especially when you have none. It's a good design. I think it's a neat concept as a design, but I don't think as a rookie this works. And I'm going to say that the same with the previous Sistermon. I don't think these designs work as rookies. They're great as champion levels. I think that's where Sistermon Blanc should go. She should join up her sisters, Seal and Noir, as those feel like champion levels. This really isn't a rookie. So I'll give it 20 seconds. Before I continue. Things I like that the Wimple was pulled down. What I don't like is it's still just human cosplaying. What I would changed is I would make this a champion. So 20 seconds. Let's see how far we need to go. I think we'll end with Snow Goblimon today. Just for time and because, well, I like interacting with you people and not much interactions happening, so... a separate species of Agumon that lives in snow fields. Snow Agumon inherited Agumon's mischievous, and it can be seen frolicking like a child during a fresh snowfall. Its body is the same color as the snow, so in battle it can sneak up on the enemy and attack. Snow Agumon uses its special move, Little Blizzard, to shoot a small snowstorm from its mouth. So, we have a recolor, but at the very least, they justify the recolor. This is Agumon, but that it's snow. It reminds me with Neopets, where depending on what paintbrush you had, you can change your Neopet to something different. That being said, this does look like it's one of the earlier Digimon. Although that could just be they took Agumon and gave it a different paint. I would say that if you're going to make... One critique I would say is if you're going to make this snow, try and make the design to look more like a snowman, like an Agumon that was made as a snowman. Because this just kind of looks like a slight recolor. Like if you told me this was Indominus Rex Agumon, I would buy it. Actually, that's kind of funny. This is Indominus Rex. That's just a snow Agumon. No, it isn't. I don't really have much to say. It's a neat little design, but that's just because it's Agumon. I like the idea that they're saying it's snow, but they could have done more to show that this is made of snow. So I like the concept, but I think there needed to have been done more. More to show that this is snow. So 20 seconds. Actually, one quick thing I will add. I would be okay with a white Agumon if they said that it had a different... its champion should be based on Cryolophosaurus. Let me look that up real quick, because... Cryolophosaurus. It's been a while since I've been done a lot with... dinosaurs. Huh. That's interesting. I agree. I would have added, seeing that the Cryolophosaurus has a crest on it, I would have added a crest on the top. Add that crest to the top of the Agumon to show that it's different from standard Agumon. You can add in the cryo element. But you can also say that it hides in the snow. It's not so much made of snow. Oh, no, never mind. It doesn't so much hide in the snow. Okay, so... I think if you added that crest, it would help show that this is a version of Agumon. This is a different version of Agumon, not just it's Agumon made out of snow. Because that's what I'm reading from it. I know the profile says it hides in snow, but this just kind of reads more of it's made of snow. Adding that crest, I think, would go to show it's different. And then its champion form more based off of that design to show, yeah, this is a different Digimon. Good catch, V Scorpio. That is a good... I like that idea. That is a good change of things. I was going to say that they should have done something like the Indominus Rex from Jurassic Park, but... Good catch. See, this is why I like dinosaurs. Because they're awesome. And you can get little designs like this. No problem, V Scorpio. And so we'll kind of end it here with Snow Goblimon. A Goblimon raised in cold, snowy countries. Snow Goblimon wears a warm hat and a vest, so cold places are no problem. The skin on the soles of its feet is thick enough to allow it to traipse over snow without issue. Snow Goblimon uses its special move, Snow Goblin Volt, to hurl rock-filled snowballs at its foe with the fervor of a demon. Oh, thank you, Snow Goblimon, you ruined Snowball. So, right from the get-go, they've added something. They've done what they failed with Shamanmon. Which is, they've changed the design. They've given him a vest. They've given him a Viking, well, not a Viking helmet, a fur hat. They've changed something with the design, and that's something they should have done with Shamanmon. That being said, I would not do the club. I would have it where he's actually throwing snowballs, because that's in the description. Show Snow Goblimon holding... snowballs and throwing it at people. Just to show this is a different Digimon. But, like I said, I like that they've added something to design to show this is snow. I don't like that they've kept the club, and I would have omitted the club. I understand they need to keep the base design just for simplicity. Well, in that case, remove the club and maybe show him holding a sack on the back with a bunch of rocks and snowballs to show that, yeah, he's going to throw these at you. So I like that they've changed something. I like that they've went more into the snow theme, I don't like that they still have the club. So, 20 seconds. I'll say this. For a recolor, this is what you kind of want to do. You want to change enough to the design that it looks different, but it still reads what it's recoloring from. They didn't just give Goblymon blue paint. They actually gave Goblymon a hat and a vest. So, yeah. So, 20 seconds. And I think that's going to wrap it up for today. I know we used to do these a bit longer, but I'm trying to save my throat for something tomorrow because I have work and I want to be able to talk tomorrow. We've come pretty far. We don't have much more of the rookies to come at. So, yeah. We have a few more rookies to go through before we head towards the champions. Like I said previous, if you happen to be in the Tyler, Texas area, I will be going to Tyler, Texas Anime to kind of see what's there. Hopefully I can get a vlog. Hopefully I can get a video of my experience there. And if I'm really lucky, they will give me a press pass, but there's no guarantee that they'll give me that. As for my review of End War, that is coming. It's going to be hopefully either this month. If not, it should come out next month. There are, outside video editing. I also have to wait for the thumbnail art to come in. So, yeah. Slow way to go. Yeah, it is cool. It's slow coming. That's the thing with YouTube and when you have work life. You kind of have to balance. I would like to one day make YouTube my main money maker, but until then, I have to balance between work and this. So, but who knows? So I will say, remember to like and subscribe, especially subscribing because we've gone up to 334 subscribers. Hopefully, we can get 500 by the end of the year. If I'm lucky, I may get 1,000. 1,000 subscribers would be real nice. But until then, slow and steady. We'll see how things go. So, yeah, that is the end of this stream today. Hope to see you all in 2 weeks. And like I said, if you're in the Tyler, Texas area, I'll be going to Tyler, Texas Anime to visit. Hopefully I'll have a press pass. And next video coming up should be End War. That should be either this month or next month. So, be safe, like and subscribe, and see you all there.